With estimates showing the growing need to feed 2 billion more people by the year 2050, farmers find themselves facing pressure to increase yields worldwide in order to keep up with food supply demands.
One thing that we're seeing as a concerning trend is just as food production increases and we have a higher nutrient removal from our soils, just keeping up with the amount of nutrients that are being removed. We've seen a growing concern in Canada here, as well as places like Argentina and Brazil, where soil phosphorus or potassium levels, sulfur levels are being depleted over time. Not all growers maybe understand the need and value of sulfur in all the crops for nutrient uptake, protein development, disease resistance, for a lot of different things like that. So farmers need to supply that sulfur to all crops to continue to grow the future for our children and next generation, so we can ensure sustainable long-term production.
Sulfur is one of 17 essential plant nutrients necessary for the growth and development of all crops.
So there's about 20 amino acids that create protein. 2 of those amino acids are sulfur-based, methionine and cysteine. They are kind of the gatekeeper to the production of all of the other amino acids. So if you're short of sulfur, you don't have enough of the gatekeeper that produces the rest of the amino acids that create protein.
Even with the current food crisis at hand, more than 1.3 billion tons of compostable food gets thrown away each year.
Well, compostable food is basically anything that you can eat and digest. So fruits, veggies, dairy, but it will also include paper, cardboard. Those are great carbon sources that we utilize in our composting process. A lot of the waste companies are providing solutions that are cost effective to separate their organic food waste and deal with it responsibly and take it out of the landfill. Waste companies are lobbying government to ban those materials from landfill and create the behavior at the waste generator level to recycle that material.
Collecting up to 32 tons of food waste per day from grocery stores, restaurants, and malls, BioCycle Solutions transports waste material to various transfer stations, where it is then processed into nutrient-rich compost and combined with macronutrients, such as sulfur.
First off, with the bioproducts from the oil and gas side, it's just a straight elemental sulfur. That's all we do. We just bring that in. It's blended then off with 30% of our compost at the end of the day. Now, our compost is a Class A compost that is made here in Alberta, Saskatchewan, or Manitoba. We bring in source-separated organics out of the back end of grocery stores, so whether or not your vegetables that kind of went rotten or they expired, that all ends up in our blend, along with animal manures, wood chips, and leaf and yard waste. Of course, we add 30% compost in our signature blend right now, which then offsets the dusting portion of it all. And the converse side on sulfur-based products is the potential of any sulfur dioxide or H2S's that people always talk about in the gas side of it. These things don't happen with elemental sulfur mixed with compost. The reaction just doesn't happen.
BioCycle's sulfur-amended compost blend is then applied on agricultural farmland to enrich soils for optimum crop performance.
So BioSol Premium Plus is a sulfur-amended compost that is comprised of particle sizes, elemental sulfur particle sizes from as small as 1 micron. So to put this in perspective, a human hair is about 150 microns. So from 1 micron to about 5,000 microns. What that means to a farmer and to a crop is that you've got rapid early release of sulfate sulfur for the crop, but you've got sustained long-term drip biological conversion from elemental sulfur to sulfate for the crop that lasts years depending on the circumstance.
By utilizing sulfur to a larger extent in the soil, farmers can enhance yields, save money, improve logistics, and promote best practices.
One of the things that we love about an elemental sulfur program on our own farm and with the growers that we work with is that we can put a long-term application on, a multi-year application on, and with elemental releasing slowly over time, we're not risking that nutrient is going to be lost. So not only is in most cases an elemental sulfur program one of the more economical ways to get that nutrient on, it also is agronomically just a superior way to do it, and you'll see increased yields, usually better protein in your cereals and things like that. So it's just a program that works really well.
By closing the sustainability loop, BioCycle brings food waste full circle.
So when I talk about next generation compost in this side of it all, instead of putting compost on in an ag setting at 3 to 5 tons per acre, and we're talking tons per acre, instead of doing that, we're going on at 220 pounds per acre and making it more of a designer nutrient more than an actual compost. The reason we go on at such a large rate is because it is a slow release product, and it is released based on biological action. So when we start adding, say, a rock phosphate to this product, or a potash to this product, they're the same thing. They need microbial action, and the elements to help make them available as a nutrient to the plant. So that's likely the direction we're going, is as we get into more and more blending facilities across the province and across Western Canada, is we're going to start adding the potashes and the rock phosphates and really what other people are asking.